I'm too raw for TV.
If you hear my voice, then you're part of the revolution. Welcome to the new world. I'm your host, the Ratchet Revolutionary, Palmetto Star, but you can call me Prophet. Hit me up on Twitter, Black Twitter, Elon Musk toy, whatever you want to call it, X. Some people call it that. At Two Raw for TV Radio. That's the number two, RAW, the number four, TV Radio. And tonight, if you have ever been to the hospital, if you know anybody that works in the medical or pharmaceutical industry, you need to tune in, tap in, subscribe, and join us now because we're not being quiet anymore. The nurse who refused to stay quiet in the labor room lies she's exposing tonight on Two Raw for TV. We have the one and only Miko with us,
Oh,
the nurse whistleblower herself. How are you doing today?
I'm good in yourself. That's how my uncle used to do it.
Blow the whistle. And she's blowing the whistle on the medical industry, and they're trying to silence her, but hey, she is talking, and they're not gonna. You can't silence the truth. You can't silence the truth when it's raw and uncut like that. And you have been doing a lot of talking to other people, to other, different platforms. You've been doing a lot since your last interview on Two Raw TV, which was just last week. We were just
Yes.
doing this last Thursday on Thanksgiving, what people call Thanksgiving Day. So, we're back at it, and we're going to expose the medical industry, the labor room, pharmaceutical industry, and much more. So you guys tap in, call in 470-572-7678. We're going in. The phone lines are hot. They're busy. So you guys definitely want to tune in and tap in, call in, so that you can speak to Nurse Whistleblower, Miko. You guys definitely want to tap in. And we're going to talk about that plus so much more. We have shadow ban videos that we're going to play, and we're going to talk about so much more. But you guys tune in. You already know we are not going to be on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, X for much longer because we only put the first 15 minutes. This too raw for TV. We call it that for a reason.
Hmm.
Always
Makes
banned
sense.
on everything. If you guys seen our latest post recently, I implore you, go to the Instagram and check it out for yourself. You can check out the censorship for yourself because there's a video with our CEO, Dre. He's talking about Too Raw for TV, and they completely censor him saying the revolution will not be televised. It's Too Raw for TV. They completely censored it. That was Instagram. They took the audio all the way off. Two Robert TV's been banned from the social media before the Tate brothers, before Nick Fuentes, before Alex Jones. Two Robert TV was the one that they banned. So you guys get in, tap in, tune in, subscribe, get a $5.99 subscription level, and support the movement because we are doing major things, and there's so much more to come. 2026. Woo! It's gonna be major, y'all. That's all I gotta say about 2026. But it's coming up very rapidly.
Hmm.
And so we're talking today about these labor room lies that Nurse Miko, the whistleblower nurse, is going to be exposing. And we're talking to her tonight. You guys tap in. Now, you have been, going the rounds since your last interview on Two Raw Over TV. You tapped into the Tampa Breakfast Club. Big time shout out to those fellow media people out there. But what was your experience like there?
It was fabulous. I was very Impressed with the questions. He came prepared. I'm like, I sent him pretty much the same documents I sent you, and he did his thing. And it was like a
Mm.
natural flow. So it was pretty good. And I've never seen them chop up, different segments and kept pushing it out, pushing it out. But that's what they've been doing also.
Mm.
Because it's a topic that needs to be discussed.
Yeah, well, everybody is, you know, they went to the doctors, they went to the emergency room, they've been to the hospital at least
Hmm.
once if you're in America, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's something that everybody can relate to, you know, and now especially um after COVID, after all that, a lot of people are, definitely interested in that subject matter because it affects everybody, and everybody
Yes.
knows the whole thing. Now, what was your I did what was your thoughts on the whole thing? What was your 2020 like
Well,
at the
my
hospital?
2020, I was on respite. I took that year off because when I left California, December the 9th, I flew straight to Jamaica and I was there for 49 days. And then when I came back,
Mm,
that's when, COVID hit. And then I had already started getting my things together to move to Jamaica because I was going to live in Jamaica and fly to Miami and work as a travel nurse. But once the COVID came, I I had to get a new plan because I did not take the vaccine. I will not take
mm,
any more vaccines. And I know when
mm-hmm.
I was in Georgia, they were saying, a jump for the jab, Dunkin' Donuts for the jab. It was like, hey, get a jab and we'll give you a hamburger. The next thing you know, it's
Wow.
mandated.
Yeah, it was
So I'm
like
like, you take care of these fucking patients. I'm out. Welcome to McDonald's. How may I help you? I'm so glad I did not take it. I'm serious. I end up finding this white lady was very heavy with pushing for not getting the jab. So I end
Mm,
up getting me a religious exemption. They said, "What religion you are?"
mm.
I said, "All of all,
Every last single one of them. I'm telling
When
you,
I took
because
my driver's license picture, I had my hair wrapped up. He asked me, "Was I Muslim?" Yep. Because if I take this thing off, my picture ain't gonna be pretty. So yeah, I'm whatever I need to be when it's time to be it.
I know that's right, especially involving that vax, and that's a thing that hit the medical industry hard. I think that's a thing that's why a lot of people do not trust the medical industry, especially what's coming out now about the vax. You have the CEO, the former CEO of Pfizer, saying that definitely that vax was there to maim, hurt, and to not allow pregnancy. It was to make people infertile.
I have a
So
story.
yes,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, as I'm
You
saying.
said
So the former CEO of Pfizer,
Mhm.
the main people that were putting out the vax, is
Mhm.
one that says that it was there to maim, hurt, and make people infertile. So, if you're not hearing that right now, if you're still in La La Land after the former CEO of Pfizer, is saying that the vax was made to harm, maim, and make people infertile, I don't know what to tell you. You're just lost in the sauce.
Willingly.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working because I had started back working 2021. So I'm in Atlanta, and it was this Jewish doctor who, they have their little Sabbath day. So I think it's what, Saturday. So he had a
Mm-hmm.
patient who was pregnant with twins, white lady. Now he was gung ho for giving his mother's this vaccine. Lo and behold, she ended up getting the vaccine, and one of the
Mm.
twins died. And she was 38 weeks
Mm.
pregnant. And
Wow.
when he did the C-section, The cord had a blood clot in it, and that was the
What?
cause of the, yes, yeah. And from that time on, that doctor vowed to never give another one of his patients that vaccine.
Mm.
Yeah. I wasn't her nurse, but I was in the nurses station. Yeah. One of her twin boys died. They were
Mm.
also taking the placentas. They were doing studies on the placentas, especially the moms who was vaccinated. So they wanted to come and gather up all the placentas. Now, when I started labor and delivery in Harlem in 2007, so 2007 November all the way up till I left like July of 2011, we was throwing the placentas away in the red biohazard. We was
Mm.
sending them to the landfill, right?
Mm.
But what I noticed, like the only time we would send them to the lab if mom had choreo, if there was something anomaly going on with the baby, so they'll send it to the lab to get studied. We put it on formaldehyde, they'll send it to the lab. But now what I've noticed in different hospitals, and this is from Florida, Georgia, California. I haven't been to New York since I left in 2011, but when I left, we were throwing them in the garbage can. So I haven't been back out there since 2011. But I noticed they take the mom's patient label. Instead of them throwing them in the garbage, they throw them in a bio garbage bin with placentas on it with the mom's patient label. So why are you throwing these placentas away in the bio bin with the mom's patient label on it? Now it's a garbage can, but it's the red bio bin. You know how you go in the hospital, you have the red bin for the blood, infectious bodily fluids, but they're
Oh
throwing the
yeah.
placentas away in there. So if my daughter have a baby, everything is normal. When they pick her placenta out that garbage can with everybody else placenta, oh, this is Susie Q. This is Dana Dane.
Mm.
So it's identified and you have to log it in. Then when I was in California, I think it was like 2017, 18, some they wanted what they were doing with the placentas were they were having us ask moms, do they want to donate their placenta because they were trying to make different body parts, the ears.
Mm.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff with these placentas. A lot of stuff. Now, for as how much they get for them, that's not my field. Hey, but they're doing a lot of research with these placentas.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
lot of
crazy.
stem cells in that placenta. It's
Mm-hmm.
life in that placenta. So, you know, I just my goal is to have some kind of common ground, common knowledge, because I see a lot of, we call them granola patients. You get so granola till you damn near knocking on death's door. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you're unhealthy, 9 times out of 10 you can't deliver with a midwife. So if you want to have those home births, unmedicated, less interventions, get healthy first. Because if you come see us, we're gonna throw you on your nose. Meaning we're gonna do all the interventions. That's like me coming to your house, Prophet, and you say take your shoes off before you come in my house. And I just walk in your house with my shoes on.
Mm.
When you come in the hospital is regulated by these governmental agencies. It's things that we have to do. Because if anything go wrong, and you can say, hey, well, they never told me. That's a lawsuit on us. So that's why they have you pushing on your back, because the doctor can't see your vagina when you're on your hands and knees. It's a lot of
Mm.
things that I'm telling you, it's a lot of things that happens in the hospital and people in the granola world, that the home birthers, when you come in the hospital, you got to pretty much, you have your plan and we give you enough rope. But when it start getting to saying like, hey, this not looking good, you need an intervention, but I know the medical field has fucked that up.
Yeah,
And we can
nobody
go into
trusts the
that a little bit
doctors.
more.
Nobody trusts the doctors. I never trusted the doctors anyway. So,
Me neither.
and when my baby was born, we kept the placenta, you know.
Yeah.
So we kept the placenta.
And
Well,
what
I
did you
mean,
have to do to keep the
we weren't even
placenta?
in the hospital though. What's that?
Okay. Oh, because when you go in the hospital, you got to sign that waiver. that we're going to take the placenta home. You got to have it in a cooler, and it has to allegedly leave the hospital as soon as possible on ice.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
cannot leave it to take the
we weren't even
postpartum
that
with you. It has to leave the hospital.
we didn't even have the baby in the hospital. That's how much I
So that's
distrust
the
doctors.
difference. So, that's the difference. So that's why that's what I'm telling the patients. You want to keep your placenta? They're pretty much lenient with it, but it's rules that we have to follow because it's considered biohazard waste. So,
Well, we're live in the labor room with the nurse whistleblower, Miko Nurse Whistleblower. You guys check her out. Hit her up on Instagram at the labor room _ You guys check her out. But guess where you're not going to see her? You're not going to see her on Twitch. You're not going to see her on Facebook. You're not going to see her on Instagram. You're not going to see her on X. You're not going to see her on TikTok because they're not going to have this on there at all. You guys know we're super shadow banned, super censored, and we are too raw for TV. The revolution will not be televised.
Are you a content creator, podcaster, or media maverick seeking a platform that puts you in control of your monetization? At 2raw4tv.tv, we empower you to choose how you earn, whether it's through ad revenue, subscriptions, or exclusive partnerships. Join the monetization revolution. Monetize your passion your way. Visit 2raw4tv.tv now and take the reins of your creative journey. Redefine your monetization. Redefine your success. Are you a content creator, podcaster, or media maverick seeking a platform that puts you in control of your monetization? At 2raw4tv.tv, we empower you to choose how you earn, whether it's through ad revenue, subscriptions, or exclusive partnerships. Join the monetization revolution. Monetize your passion your way. Visit 2raw4tv.tv now and take the reins of your creative journey. Redefine your monetization. Redefine your success.
Women feeling like men are incapable of loving women.
Can't fall love and give love. You can only receive love.
From Stella the Queenmaker, who is setting YouTube on fire right now.
Let me tell you, all the male talks about is what he need and what he want. It ain't never about what he give.
You can't ask for something that somebody can't give you and expect to actually get it. The number 2, raw. The number 4, TV.tv.
Is that love? If I come to you and say, hey, I want you to do this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Do you feel love if I tell you everything that I want?
Love, people got love all screwed up these days. Love is not something that you give, it's something that you get.
Wow. Rarely am I left speechless because just in one short hour, my whole entire perspective has been shifted. Shelly Speaks Truth right here on 2raw4tv.tv.
Are you a content creator, podcaster, or media maverick seeking a platform that puts you in control of your monetization? At 2raw4tv.tv, we empower you to choose how you earn, whether it's through ad revenue, subscriptions, or exclusive partnerships. Join the monetization revolution. Monetize your passion your way. Visit 2raw4tv.tv now and take the reins of your creative journey. Redefine your monetization. Redefine your success.
Women feeling like men are incapable of loving women.
Can't fall love and give love. You can only receive love.
From Stella the Queenmaker, who is setting YouTube on fire right now.
Let me tell you, all the male talks about is what he need and what he want. It ain't never about what he give.
You can't ask for something that somebody can't give you and expect to actually get it. The number 2, raw. The number 4, TV.tv.
Is that love? If I come to you and say, hey, I want you to do this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. Do you feel love if I tell you everything that I want?
Love, people got love all screwed up these days. Love is not something that you give, it's something that you get.
Wow. Rarely am I left speechless because just in one short hour, my whole entire perspective has been shifted. Shelly Speaks Truth right here on TV.tv.
See nothing, hear nothing, speak nothing. Hospitals want their nurses to say anything about the underbelly of this occupation. Some things shouldn't be said. Some things should be kept quiet. Tonight on Two Raw Over TV, we're going to talk to Nurse Whistleblower. You guys hit her up on Instagram at the labor room _ and she's returning from her last week interview to expose the lies in the labor room. Those botched deliveries swept under the rug, the pressure nurses you have to falsify records, to stay silent and cope. She's pulling back the curtain on all of that. This is the frontline testimony of a nurse that chose truth over her boss. So join us. It's going to be a powerful discussion. And we have Nurse Whistleblower, Miko. She is here with
Hey.
us. You guys tap in. 470-572-7678. We are going in tonight. So we were talking about COVID. And that's just a very touchy subject for a lot of people because
Yes.
it exposed if you're conscious or not. I'm not gonna even lie. If you know, there's a lot of fake conscious people that were faking and saying all these facts and all of this stuff about consciousness and third eye chakra meditations and all this stuff like that, and they went and took their facts. I couldn't believe that.
You couldn't travel. Well, I don't need to leave the United States no damn way. You won't be able to buy groceries. Well, I need to eat grass anyway. I need to lose some weight. I had an excuse for everything. I was not taking it. I wasn't.
Right.
My aunt took the vaccine. She's my grandmother's oldest living child. And my grandmother had 7 children, and all of them passed away in their earlies, 30s, 40s of heart issue. Why would I take that? You know, my aunt, once she took the vaccine, next thing you know, she ended up having a pacemaker, and she's 80. She's had this
Wow.
pacemaker for about 4 years now. No, when the 2000, 4 years. My daddy took it. He was already diabetic. He just had a massive heart attack in May and died. So he couldn't even walk after the vaccine. And then they kept going back getting the damn boosters. I'm like,
wow.
when have the government ever given niggas stuff and you gon' I said, if I was going to take it, I'm going way on the white side of town. I ain't going to the 7-Eleven up the street in the hood. I'm
Right.
like, because you get, and it's got a lot numbers. So, they're going to send the watered down version of here. They're going to send the extra strength to us. I said, I'm not playing them.
You said it has what number? See, now you're saying some stuff that's only
lot numbers. So, medication, anything has a lot number, Band-Aids. So they'll know where this batch came from, when it was made. So those lot numbers are very important. So even when we give the babies their vaccines, we have to put that lot number, Smith & Klein, whoever the manufacturer of that vaccine, and the expiration date in the computer. So if anything was to come back on it, they can find that through that lot number.
Wow.
So everything is trackable, allegedly.
I was just reading a story about a doctor who is a hero, and I don't have his name right now, but big time salute to this doctor who was giving people saline shots instead of vaccination shots. I mean, to me, it was not even consciousness. It just was common sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, if you are familiar with the Tuskegee experiments, if you're familiar with just the early medical history of America, how they tested it on Black people, Tuskegee experiments, diabolical experimentation on Black people. And then I coupled that with Fannie Lou Hamer.
The Mississippi appendectomy, giving those women those hysterectomies, sterilizing the Black women. Planned Parenthood, birth controls, those IUDs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Henrietta Lacks. You know,
J.
exactly.
Miriam
If you
Sims, the father of gynecology.
exactly, that's what I was referring to. Yeah, that's what I was
The
referring to.
list
Yeah,
can
that's.
go on.
I mean, if you are familiar with just any of that, but no, but all you had to hear was Melinda Gates say, "Oh, well, black people should take it first." What the hell are you trusting this shot for? What the hell?
No, you
After
heard the TED
Melinda Gates?
Talks when Bill Gates said we can decrease the world population through vaccine by 15%. Next thing you know, COVID. Come on now.
You didn't get it? You didn't get it then? Like that's crazy. That's crazy. And what's crazier to me, Miko, is that they let you get a religious exemption. We were talking about that earlier, but they were saying I mean the vax had all the earmarkings of the Christian mark of the beast. You couldn't buy or sell. You couldn't do any of that stuff, and Christians just took it. The Black Church was the main sponsor, promoter of the vaccine. The main people,
When you want
the
something
main
done in the
people.
Black community, where do you go? To the Black church. When Margaret
Mm,
wanted those women to abort their baby, she went to the Black church.
mm.
When the politicians come, they'll lie and tell you. Then next thing you know, 4 years later, they come back to the Black church with more lies. And they still, how many times you gonna let these people put a banana in your tailpipe? You're gonna keep falling for that shit. But some people never learn.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't want to get into these labor room lies. We're gonna get into all these labor room lies, but let me do this. I'm gonna get the first caller. So you guys call
Okay.
in 470-572-7678. I have 4258. You're on the line with Two Raw for TV. Labor room lies. When's the last time you've been in the doctor's office?
Doctor's office.
Me?
Come on, man. No, but for real. I don't want to. The reason I'm calling, right? Because I'm listening to the conversation, and Palmetto Star, bro. I don't know. Are you really sitting here advocating for us to not take any vaccines? Are you saying like
Yes.
the message is like, yo, don't take none of them shit. Just
I'm gonna say, yeah, don't take none of that shit, man. Don't take any of the vaccines, but especially the COVID. Like, you're a special. I'm not. Well, it may sound insulting, but you're a special sort of stupid if you took that COVID vaccine with all the information and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Not even conscious. I was trying to let people off the hook by saying they're just not conscious, but you're just not smart. You're just not smart at all.
Here's what. I'm gonna give you a pass, Palmetto, because you're Palmetto Star.
All right.
You're not in the medical field, but you do have a registered nurse on your panel.
I do have a registered nurse.
Ask your registered nurse.
Oh, now you want to bring me in the shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask your registered nurse. We have a guest on the panel, right? Because when it comes to medical, I mean, she's registered. I kind of want to lean to what she's saying, right? So, nurse, I'm gonna ask you, Nurse Whistleblower, I'm gonna ask you, is all vaccines? Are you saying that we should not take any vaccines out here? Or are you saying that we should not give our children any of these vaccines out here? Is that your message?
No, that is not my message. First of all, I am not a doctor. I did not go to medical school. So I'm not advising you on anything. I'm just here running my mouth telling you what I feel. So, however, I've gotten this question in the labor room, should I vaccinate my child? And I tell them, hepatitis B, if you don't have hepatitis B and the father don't have hepatitis B, why do the baby need hepatitis B vaccine? I mean, they're not going to be getting into any blood, are they? So to me, that's just a no-brainer. We use erythromycin, which is an antibiotic. We only give the babies 3 vaccines in the hospital. All that other stuff now, I was young and dumb. I gave my daughter all the vaccines She didn't get the COVID, but when she was a little girl, she had those normal vaccines that we pretty much all had growing up. That we didn't even have autism back then. So all of a sudden, autism coming out the blue. So I don't know if they done pumped up the mercury or the lead. I don't know. But I know we give erythromycin because the vagina and the ass is right there. So sometimes mamas poop. So we use that for the antibiotic to protect the baby's eyes. We do it through vaginal or C-sections. Hepatitis B, that's one. Vitamin K, they claim that because the baby is a newborn, their blood clotting factors are not mature yet, so they give them the vitamin K. And the reason why they push it for little boys is because if they get circumcised, you don't want them to bleed. But the baby gets their first immunization through the breast milk. So I'm not telling you to vaccinate your babies or not. That's on you. That's your baby. I got a cousin who ain't vaccinated now, one of hers. And the oldest one is 30, and the baby is 14.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, right? So,
Mhm.
but I can tell you, like, I have children, older children that have had vaccines, have scheduled vaccines, no problems, absolutely no problems. They haven't had the COVID shot, right? And I've also have children that have not had any vaccines and are perfectly fine. So I've been lucky or blessed, I should say, in both circumstances. But I do know adults that suffer from illnesses that they've been told that if they would have had XYZ vaccines, they would have never got that illness. So that's where my line of questioning is coming from. If that makes sense.
What
Yes,
illness? Let's get specific.
yeah,
What illness are you talking about?
yeah.
Well, like, I guess hepatitis. I've heard what's it called? Vaginal warts.
Well, hold on.
Oh, the
Hold on.
HPV.
HPV.
The HPV has so many different strands to it. So that HPV vaccine that I did give my daughter, because again, I was a nurse then. So I got educated after the fact. But thank God nothing happened to her. But there's different strands of HPV. So that one vaccine, it doesn't cure all of the HPVs, all the numbers.
Okay.
So, and you said the hepatitis. Let's just assume, what was her name who died of hepatitis? The singer, Natalie Cole. 9 times out of 10, she probably had the hepatitis B vaccine. It's highly likely. And she still got hepatitis. If that was the case, with the intravenous drug usage and the sex that's going on around here, and 9 times out, a lot of us was vaccinated. I've had that vaccine at least twice. So it's your lifestyle.
Well, yeah.
Because what about our ancestors?
Isn't there like a? Because right now I know there's in the news they keep on talking about measles, right? Because a lot of parents are saying that they're not vaccinating their children. And me as a child, I had measles, right? I didn't die.
Well, that's apparently we're talking to you right now, so.
We had chickenpox parties.
I also had chickenpox.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we had the chickenpox party. Yeah, well, somebody got chickenpox. Bring the kids. Let all of them get it.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. They isolated me, but when I did have
we had chicken.
Right, and I also had the mumps.
Wow.
And I think.
What year were you born? The 1700s? No, I'm just playing.
No, I was in Jamaica.
Okay.
We don't get the same scheduled vaccines. So coming to America, I had to take a bunch of vaccines.
Where you from? I'm sorry, I was laughing.
Jamaica.
Oh.
So when it was time to come to America, then I had to take a bunch of vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
But in Jamaica, I had measles, mumps. Those things were just normally, and people knew how to treat it.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't die. There was nobody dying from none of this. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying 100% with the vaccines, but I guess like some things, I think herpes is another one that is like uncurable. That, you know what I mean? If you can get vaccinated against it, I don't see where the problem is.
There's a herpes vaccine.
Hey, well, people taking PrEP so they don't get AIDS. So hey, it's your body, your choice. I'm just not doing it. And I'm 50. And if I was to have another baby, which I know I'm not going to have one, I wouldn't even vaccinate. That's just my opinion. I'm not here pushing. They're not paying me to vaccinate or not. You know, a lot of doctors was getting kickbacks from vaccinating these babies through the pharmaceuticals.
That part.
So the more vaccines they gave, and I think if I'm not mistaken, allegedly, they still got a little something going on. So it's all about the money.
Exposed.
Remember when what's the Kennedy that talks funny, and he was saying that the black people
RFK.
need a different schedule, from white folks, and then that black lady got all
talk about that. Thank you.
When we realize that our genetic makeup is different from other folks, and our bodies respond to different medications than other folks, then we'll realize. But if not, we all got to meet the maker. I'm just not trying to see him just yet.
That part.
But if you want your baby circumcised, you want his foreskin cut off, a doctor is not going to circumcise your baby without that vitamin K. Period, point blank. So turtleneck.
Yeah,
you said turtleneck? What's turtleneck? You said turtleneck. Good Lord. On that note, I'm going to let y'all go.
All right, appreciate it. Big time shout out to you. Yeah, but that was a good question. Those were good questions.
Very good. Yeah.
And I'm glad that you referenced RFK talking about that, because a lot of people were upset about that, about him saying that black people had a different makeup, that, we didn't need the same vaccine schedule and things of that nature. Why were people upset about that? I mean, in your opinion, or was it just the fact that he was aligned with Trump in that?
No, in my opinion, black folks, well, most black folks, not all of us, we don't subscribe to all, don't want to be so close to whiteness. And since we're all human and we're all a child of God, we got to be all the same. So I know for a fact, any lisinopril, any high blood medication that end with PRIL, it does not, for some reason, it don't like black folks. I came home in 2022. I finally got to St. Pete, and I'm looking at my brother. I'm like, damn, why your lips so damn big? And he done been in a motorcycle accident and just everything. And he was like, it's probably my blood pressure, man. I said, well, what the hell you on? And he talking about lisinopril. I said, man, if you don't get off that shit. He had my brother lips all, lisinopril will swell you up. So our bodies are not the same as our cousins.
Right. Like, yeah, that's crazy, because, a lot of people were just getting on him because of that. I'm like, he's telling you the truth, but he's telling you that our genetics are superior, and people were getting upset about that. Black people were getting upset. I couldn't believe it.
Even with the bone marrow, when I was working in New York, we was trying to find bone marrow for this little boy, and he could not find a match. It is hard for black folks to find matches to bone marrow for like bone marrow transplant, because you have to have a match. But because our DNA has been mixed, that's why we have a hard time finding. So that's why I was trying to get a lot of black people in to help this boy. They could never find him a match. And when you get down to mixed children, when we're talking about black and white kids, those kids, forget about it. Forget about it.
Wow. Wow. See, we're going to go into that. We're going to expose these labor room lies. The nurse who refused to stay quiet, the one and only nurse whistleblower, Miko. So you guys get in tune, tap in with her social media at the labor room _. But I do want to play these videos. Can you play
Okay.
that first one? Then we're going to go into it. I want to see your reaction to this.
So do you know for certain, did Sabi heal Magic Johnson? So did he actually have it from what you know? And did Sabi help him if he did in fact have it?
We was in Usha, and I was like, Sabi, you ever met Magic Johnson? Were you the one who healed him of HIV? And his whole face changed. I'm like, oh shit. I'm about to get thrown out of Usha. He didn't say nothing for about maybe 2 minutes. So then he was like, his people reached out to me. I said, oh shit, he talking. And he's telling me, and I'm like, damn, my camera was, this one of the things I regret not recording because I didn't want to cut his. He was like, his people reached out to me. I told them he need to come to me. And he didn't want to come to me. He set up a hotel. And made me go to the hotel, and I talked to him, and they talked. He told him what he needed to do, and it took him, I think it was like 4 to 6 months for him to get that. And Magic promised him that he was going to tell the world about him. That's why Dr. said he called him an Oreo. He was white on the inside and just black on the outside. And he was upset because he thought that was going to be his introduction to the world.
But Magic did have that package,
according to what Dr. Sebi. And you got to think about it. They paying Magic for the HIV cocktail. He's getting millions of dollars every year just to be the brand ambassador for that.
And big time shout out to Miko Turtle of Atlantis Indigenous Radio, the show right before mine on Two Raw over TV. Actually, he just did a whole show on Dr. Sabi. His birthday was on November 26th, so salute to the ancestor. Dr. Sabi, who probably couldn't work in the same hospitals that you worked in, Miko. He probably couldn't work there because he didn't have the quote unquote credentials. But what's your thoughts on Dr. Sabi and that clip right there about Magic Johnson and HIV?
First of all, giving honor to the ancestor, I really admired Dr. Sabi. When I had my chance in California, this was right around the time he passed away. I went to go to his actual shop to get his products, and they were very expensive. But I ended up ordering them, taking the chance to order them offline, and I loved his products. It was very bitter, but they did what they said it was gonna do. With that being said, it's sad. I believe he did what he did, but why would he get a hotel room? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he had some surveillance, the CIA, FBI, stuff like that. Because why would you get a hotel room and set it up and you got to come to me? So now you taking me out of my element, bringing me into your element. I don't know what's bugged in here, but he took a chance and he did. And like you said, he called him an Oreo. And this is what happens. When we try to help our people, this is what they do to us. This is what they do to us. And out of all the things that Dr. Sabi prevented, which he was talking about, mucus, didn't they say he died of pneumonia? He go to jail and next thing you know, he gets sick just that quick. So it's crazy. So we already know what happened to him, allegedly. Right. So anytime we have people like Dr. Sabi, because he tried to heal Teddy Pendergrass. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know
But
that.
he didn't want to continue with the program. I think he said Teddy was starting to feel his feet. The man was a bad mama Gemini. He was the truth. He knew
Yeah,
his
he
stuff.
was.
Yeah.
Yep. He definitely was. A big time shout out to Dr. Sabi. Recently
That's why he's no longer
transitioned.
here.
Exactly. Because,
Yeah.
once you take away the element that, you need pills and you need shots and you need medical care for these elements, now you're cutting into people's money. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Now you're a problem. And that's how it
COVID
is
was a money
when
maker
you're dealing with
for these
Western
hospitals.
medicine.
Yes.
Say that one more time.
COVID brought these hospitals a lot of money. I saw a lot of new TVs, a lot of expansions, a lot of new equipment. They were, even when you walked in the hospital at Midtown in Atlanta, they were scanning your face. So I'm like, why are they scanning your face? I said, this not just taking your temperature. They taking something else. They getting your digital eye print. They getting all of this stuff. Facial recognition.
Mm.
COVID
That
let
was
a
happening.
lot of sneaky stuff in. Mm-hmm.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Diabolical. That's why
It's
we're exposing
diabolical, right?
these labor room lies and lies that the pharmaceutical, medical, and nursing industry are trying to hide. But tonight, Nurse Whistleblower Miko, she is exposing it all. So you guys call in 470-572-7678. We're going in tonight on Two Raw Over TV. I do want to play that second video because I couldn't believe this when I saw this. But now you guys are going to see it.
Hospital exposed, hiding a black woman's body, harvesting the organs. It's a damn shame. Put it up full mask. California woman goes missing. Is found in a morgue months later with organs taken out of her body. Ms. Tanya Walker went missing in November of 2023. Could not be found anywhere by the family. This prompted a thorough search throughout their home of Sacramento for months. The investigation officially began November 10th, when Tanya's family reported her missing to the police. It's not like Tanya Walker to do this, so they got police involved. Her sisters. The Walker's appearance searched for months. Then a break came. A break in the case did not come until May 2024, several months later, when the DOJ noticed that she had been marked as deceased by the DMV. So a sheriff's deputy told the family that they had finally found Walker's body on a shelf in a morgue located on the outskirts of Sacramento. When family arrived, they were shown Miss Walker's body. Walker was missing her eyes and her epidermal, her skin.
So they skinned the lady alive?
Was identified through the renderings of a tattoo on her arm. Walker's family discovered that she actually died in November 2nd of cardiac arrest.
Allegedly.
California-based medical organization, a nonprofit, is now facing a civil lawsuit filed by Walker's family. Hospital.
That's crazy. That's completely nuts. But so let me ask you this. The first word that comes into your mind after seeing that, go.
Harvesting.
Harvesting. Yeah, I mean that is just it's obvious. If I go in and I'm trying to see my loved one who has passed and their eyes are gone, that is crazy. That's completely insane. They only
What are
play
you
these
doing with her skin? What you doing with her skin? What are you going to do with her skin?
Wow.
For burn victims. And see, that's what they're using those placentas for also. They were saying something about burn victims. They're using the placenta and all this. Her uterus probably was gone too because, they're trying to have the men have babies. That's why probably a lot of women went through them hysterectomies. All you got to do is put them on some ice. I don't know how long you got to freeze an organ. A uterus don't have no heartbeat. You know, it's just there. It got blood flow, but why us? Why the Black woman? Why her? And then the hospital had her in that morgue all that time. And then the DOJ listed her as deceased. Oh, this sound like some collective workings. The CEO knew about this. You can't tell me the head honchos ain't know about that lady in that morgue. That's an inside job.
That's an inside job. Then taking somebody's skin off. I'm not a medical professional by any means, but
me neither.
Taking someone's
Not
skin
like
off
that.
sounds tedious. That sounds
That
like
when I heard that, not to cut your wisdom, that reminded me of how they did Nat Turner. How they did our ancestors when they skinned them. And then, so what the tattoo was, oh, we don't need that part because that's a tattoo.
Wow.
I hope they sue the shit out of them. I used to work for that company.
That's crazy. That's crazy that is like the only option. Like what? I mean, someone needs to pay for that. Someone needs to get, honestly, someone needs to get whipped for that. Honestly, lashes, jail time, you know, maybe even possibly execution because of what's going on.
You know, I was looking up and trying to understand, like, with my situation, trying to find an attorney about different things. The law, as far as like criminal law, is different from medical law. So to commit murder in the medical field is considered negligence. It won't be considered like first-degree murder. So they changed the wordings. It's the same thing, but the words are changed, so it makes it look different. So I was like, wow, so that's how they get away with murder. Just change the words. Oh, lack of communication, negligence, delayed care, stuff like that. But that definitely was an inside job. Definitely. And it's like inside all over it. Remember when the baby got decapitated and the hospital wanted to dispose of that baby down in Atlanta, the Black baby? And the mother was like, no, they want to show the baby through the window. One thing when we have fetal demises, we let that baby stay with them parents until they don't want to, want the baby to go to the morgue. If they want them to come out the room, we'll either put it in the refrigerator that's on the unit or they'll keep it under the warmer. Now, white babies tend to turn colors quicker than our Black babies. But we keep those kids no matter if they a little blob, whatever they want, they keep their babies with them. But for them to try to separate that Black baby from that mother and hold her up in the window as if all the time you just prop the baby head up on like the headless pumpkin man. Thank God she went to her own funeral home and that's how she found out. So hospitals do stuff like that. They do. That's why you need an advocate.
And they want people to be quiet about murder. But so the medical courts are different than the regular courts?
No, they're the same courts. It's just the terminology is different.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So unless you definitely going in the hospital premeditating to kill somebody, just like with the lady that was breaking the Black kids' bones, the NICU baby's bones.
Oh my God, yes.
Her charges, yeah, that's different. And you notice it's always the usual suspects. So
yeah,
we don't get the chance to harm people and get away with it. So yeah, it's the same court, just different terminology.
So basically, just to cover these murderers? Because I know on your social media that you had said that these um these people get into the profession of nurses for the same reason that these pink power terrorists get into the position of a police officer.
Police officer.
Yeah, can you talk
Well,
about
who
that a
give
little?
birth? I feel, and I wasn't the one that said that quote. It was another sister. And I could definitely relate because who give birth to the white policeman?
Mm,
And predominantly in the nursing field, and I'm just going to talk about labor and delivery. When you go in there, who do you see? When you go to these medical boards and all these different organizations and you look up how making these rules and all, who do you see? You don't see Tamika, you see Sally, you see Karen,
mm,
you see Becky. So you wonder
mm.
why the black woman is 3 to 4 times more likely to die, but you just can't say black women are dying because of white women. That's why you got to say, black women are dying because of the biases and the systemic. But true, who runs the dang on facilities? That white
Mm,
girl.
mm, 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 mm.
I was doing a little research with Sojourner Truth earlier today, and
Okay.
even she ain't our woman. She was with the woman, the women's rights, but they even treated her differently. You know,
Mm,
she was one of the first ones to take somebody to court and sue them for her son. But the white women wanted her voice, but they didn't want her thunder. They wanted her to say what you're gonna say. Now get your nigga ass back there and sit down somewhere. And that's why
right.
she said, "Ain't I a woman?"
Mm,
She's something else. Becky, she's something else. She is dangerous.
mm. Yeah, they
Very
said that
dangerous.
that it was the white women why they made that casual killing act because it was them the ones that were doing it.
Yeah, more vicious than the men.
Mm,
hmm I forgot the name of that book. It's a book about when she owned them. I can't think of the title. I just found out about the book, but sh- she's something else. And if my mother was born in 1953, civil rights was passed in what, 1965?
mm-hmm.
So just think, if I'm 50, the kids that I went to school with, the white children, are they not my age? Just maybe they grew up with parents that was a little bit racist. I'm so glad I grew up in a black household that everybody loved to be black. Everything was blacker than black. We had the blacker than black pictures of I'm born in the 70s, so you already know what our house
Right.
looked like. So, but I just I think the reason why the white women, white nurses in labor and delivery have an issue with me because I don't come in there like this at all.
Mm,
My hair wrap, I may have on my beanie, my hoop earrings. I look them in the face, they look me in the face. You ask me, do you know by who you think you talking to? I don't get down like that. I don't.
mm. So you don't come
I
in
say
there
what
with
I
your
mean and I
head
mean
down.
what I say.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. You got to because
Well, that's
these are
crazy.
the places that they're going to test you at. Now what's your thoughts on them saying no? When I say them, yeah, I just always know that I'm probably referring to the government, but they're taking and reclassifying nursing as a profession and saying that is not a professional profession. So what's your thoughts on that?
My thought is, well, let them take care of their damn patients.
Mm,
Because when you reclassify, that means the pay rate gonna drop. So if the pay rate gonna drop, we might as well go on and get us a job at Publix. Why would I want to stay in the field where I'm not being respected at? You're not even paying me. That's why I say when I used to do travel nursing every Friday, I work for my money and my check damn near be good. But to go on somebody's job every 2 weeks and get what I'm getting on a travel assignment every 2 weeks or maybe less, it ain't worth the fucking squeeze. It's not. So with them reclassifying, hey, I think it's because a lot of Black women are getting into the nursing field and we are moving
Oh
up into
yeah,
a lot of
that's
managerial
already
positions. That's
absolutely.
why.
Because why would you take that position and say it as a non-professional position when you have to?
Because you've seen a lot of people that look like me. But see,
Exactly.
here's
I
the
mean,
thing.
that's the only
Those women
thing. That's
that,
the only reason.
yeah, those women that look like me still ain't busting a grape yet. Because see, we
Mm.
still have to be docile when we come down to the what they call them, the missus.
Mm.
You really think somebody want me to be a manager in their department? And if you tell me this is how the rules go and I start going by the rules, that means, well, damn, we ain't got no workers. Well, you said to go by the rules. She had 8 absences, so it said the terminator, so she gone. Hire somebody else. When you go to work, stop going on them people job. Have doing your damn job because I wish they would pay us how people work. You have work, you get a half-ass check. I do your job, I get your check, and I get my check. And we got a lot of people like that. Don't sign up for housekeeping and you're going to half-ass housekeep. Don't sign up
Mm.
to be a nurse if you're going to be a nasty-ass nurse. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, I
Mm-hmm.
was raised to operate with a spirit of excellence. If my mom ain't like your damn handwriting, she gonna tear that shit up. If I can't read it, I know the goddamn teacher can't read it either. That's the type of household I grew up in.
Right.
Should
Mm-hmm.
then play.
Right. Because we were taught that you had to be at least 5 times better than the average Pell
10
person.
times.
You
Shit. We was
know
told
what
10
I'm saying?
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. 10 times, 10 times more than the average Pell person just to get in the same position that they're in. So
And get
that's the
less
spirit
pay.
that I've always been operating in.
Yeah. Always. We couldn't
Hmm.
go to school without ironing our school clothes. Mama, iron it because you go to school like that. He just say your mama sent. They ain't gonna never say your daddy. Oh, they daddy sent they to school. It's always the mama. Mama ain't play that shit.
Hmm.
Come here, let me smell your breath. Go brush your teeth again. And this time hit that tongue. So she did that check. Did you wash your face? Let me look in your. That's the type of mother I grew up with. I went to
Hmm.
school, a lot of Black kids, not so much.
Right.
So, and I come from welfare. I was on the welfare system. My mom had us on the welfare system. So shit, don't make me go back. Ooh. Hey, when they fired me, they started to keep me from getting my unemployment. And I hadn't been on food stamps since 2007.
Hmm.
I got food stamps last year
Mm.
for 6 months, 200 some dollars. I hadn't been on food stamps since 2007. The hell I'm on food stamps again because I couldn't get no work. I got to eat.
Mm.
So, yeah, good question.
Yeah, it's crazy because even in this world of podcasting, you know, you see mediocre mayonnaise males. They get, they'll not say anything on a podcast, not do anything, and you get all these mediocre people subscribing to them. I'm like, okay, so see, Black people can't afford to be mediocre at all. We don't
At
play
all,
that
we can't.
mediocre here. It's Black supremacy. You know what I'm
I think
saying? So
something,
we don't.
something. Tiffany in New York said that about being mediocre. She called your girl, one of them white get mediocre. But yeah, we, like I said, Black women, and I think Trevor said it, the mixed dude, the African dude.
Mm. Oh yeah,
Black
Trevor
women
Noah.
can afford to fuck around and find out. By the time we fuck around and find out, we already fucked.
Yeah.
We don't have that
Right.
privilege. So, you know, black women so hard, black women so this, black women. Hell, because we sit there and watch y'all, and we still watching y'all kill our men and our sons. So somebody got to stand up. Hell, I can't wait to learn how to be a punk again, be a lady. Shoot. That's why a lot of us got high blood pressure, because we stay on 10 all the time.
That's powerful.
So.
That's powerful. Well, Nurse Whistleblower, Miko, it's been a pleasure always. You always break it down and reveal the truth, expose the labor room lies, and there's so much more. Plus, I don't want to spill everything, but you got some stuff coming up on Too Raw for TV with Nurse Whistleblower that you guys definitely need to stay tuned. Get your subscription. Go get that $5.99 subscription, because it's going to be well worth it. You're going to see some more of Nurse Whistleblower on Too Raw for TV. I'm so excited about that.
Thank you for having me. This was a great show tonight, broadcast.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you guys tune in next week. And remember that if you see something, say something. You know, in these industries, don't let anybody silence you. You know,
Right.
because your silence is actually co-signing the fuckery. You know, it's co-signing the craziness, and your silence is going to actually be the thing that turns against you. You know, when it's all said and done, nobody's going to say anything about what they do to you. But I want you to spread the message, awaken others, and win the revolution within. It's Too Raw for TV. This is Full Metal Star, the Ratchet Revolutionary, and host of Too Raw for TV.